There's a lie in the church that people who have faith should never suffer from suicidal ideation. And that's just not reality. Just because you have faith doesn't mean you're protected from pain, and people can never predict how you're going to respond to pain. People think that they understand your pain, but they really honestly don't, because they don't know how you're experiencing what you're going through. Even if they've gone through the same thing or something similar, you're a different person, so it hits you differently. But your pain does not have to define your life. See, for many people who have come to the edge and who have maybe even attempted suicide, if they have survived their attempt, many people say that they didn't want their life to end, but what they wanted to end was their pain. And the question I think we need to wrestle with is, do I want my life to end, or do I want my pain to end? And there is a way to end your pain without ending your life. See, just because you have faith doesn't mean that you'll never wonder and that you'll never think about taking your life. Even Elijah, the prophet of God, at one point asked God to take his life. In 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 4, he literally asked God to end his life. And God, being a wise and loving God, responds to him with empathy and with encouragement. First thing that God does to help bring Elijah back from the edge is that God gives Elijah some food. This tells us that sometimes we're down, sometimes we're depressed, sometimes we're on the edge because of how our body is enduring or going through what we're dealing with. Sometimes it's just that we're tired. Sometimes it's just that we're hungry. Sometimes it's that we're exhausted. And when our body is depleted, our thoughts will also reflect what's going on with our bodies. The other thing that God does is that God changes Elijah's perspective. Elijah believes that he's the only prophet in all of Israel that is still honoring and worshiping the one true God. And isn't it just like us to believe from time to time that I'm the only one who's going through this? I'm the only one who understands. I'm the only one who's in this situation. So God has to let Elijah know the perspective you have is not accurate. Yes, you're in pain. Yes, you're lonely. Yes, you're tired. But there are 7,000 other prophets that have not bowed the knee to Baal. And this encourages Elijah, one, for him to recognize that, hey, I need some food in my life. I need to take care of my body. But then two, for him to recognize that his perspective is not permanent, that his perspective is not the reality, and that there is a greater reality at hand. The reality is there are others who are still experiencing what he's experiencing, and they're holding on. And this encourages Elijah for him to realize, one, I'm not by myself. And two, the same way God has sustained them, God will also sustain me. What I want you to remember is that though you may want your pain to end, that does not mean that your life has to end. There are other ways of ending your pain without ending your life. God ends Elijah's pain by giving him some food. God ends Elijah's pain by shifting his perspective. And God ends Elijah's pain by encouraging him to hold on so that he can come to the point where he recognizes that his life is bigger than his pain. If you're considering ending it, hold on, allow your perspective to change, and your pain will end, and your life doesn't have to. I hope that for somebody who might be considering making a permanent decision based off of a temporary feeling, that this is the kind of message that will encourage you to keep on going. If you're considering committing suicide, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255.